When the sun sets, the undead awaken. To slake their hunger, they feed upon the herd of unaware mortals. Right beneath our noses, the kindred clash against their rivals as they vie for control of the city of San Francisco. Are you strong enough to cheat Final Death and see another night? Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game from Renegade Game Studios.
Welcome to Vampire Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to the month of darkness. I'm Matt Holland, and I'm here with Matt Hyra. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You started your full month of darkness preparations and celebratory duties.
Yeah, if you mean that my wife is buying still more Halloween decorations, yes. But I'm also happy to see the month of darkness rivals cards on our website. So
yes, yeah. So we teased a little bit at what we were doing for month of darkness. I think 2 weeks ago that there was something for rivals. So if you order anything on our website right now that is World of Darkness related, you will get a month of darkness promo pack thrown in there, and in that is a set of 5 rivals promos those feature the characters from our streaming show, The Nightlife. So they're vampires based out of Miami. They get up to some pretty great hijinks. And if you very possibly have watched that here on Twitch after Vampire Wednesdays some weeks. So those are new vampires usable in Rivals. You'll just get those thrown in with your order. You also get a oversized D10 for Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game, and a pretty nifty Hunter the Reckoning dice bag. So that all just comes...
Something for everyone.
Yeah, any World of Darkness title that you play, there's something in there for you. It comes free with any product. That was also added retroactively to anyone who ordered Dragon and the Rogue before October, because it's going to be shipping this month. Obviously, it would not feel real good to have already ordered and then need to cancel your order or any sort of shenanigans like that. So we're just adding it to your order. You don't need to worry about it. So that's pretty cool and good news. We've also got some more great news before we get to the long-awaited Ravnos pre-constructed deck preview. Mm-hmm. The registration is up for the European Continental Conclave. As we had previously announced, it's in Toulouse, November 19th and 20th. If you just head over to vampirerivals.com/conclave, that'll take you right to the registration page on the Renegade France website, and you can get your tickets there. They've got all the prizes. They've got some side events planned for Sunday, both during and after the top cut. So there's going to be a lot of great ways to play and a lot of great prizes to win.
And there's already a good few dozen people signed up.
That's my understanding. The French team has said they've had a really good response. And that is using the same card pool we had at Gen Con. Everything up through Heart of Europe will be legal. And be using the Prague City deck with that special Continental Conclave promo pack that you'll all get to take home and also just shake things up in the way that the game is played. That's not the only event we have coming up, though. October 15th in Burbank, California, we are going, Geeky Tees, a little friendly local game store, is going to be hosting a special Month of Darkness tournament. This is hosted by Geeky Tees, but Renegade Games will be in attendance. We are providing a bunch of great prizes, some stuff that you have not seen at a store level before, and many players maybe haven't had a chance to grab. So show up there, get some great prizes. We're going to have, I know Jordan, our community manager, will be there, and we're going to be doing some video coverage and just, hanging out with the community there. So show up, get some prizes, have a great time if you're in the area. We did also just have our final Prince of the City Leon last weekend, and congratulations to, hopefully I say this correctly, Johan Roussel, as the Prince of Leon. So he'll be up on the website soon. They had a great turnout for that, and one more chance to win a Prince title over there in Europe. Hyra, you remember we talked about the Coterie and the Haven programs, kind of these booster programs to incentivize both players and stores to get rivals playing in their stores.
Make your store famous.
Yes, yeah. So the grand prize for stores, one of them will get turned into an art piece as a new Haven in game, kind of like we've done the Princes or some other, community members or characters as a vampire card. This will be a store that becomes an actual playable Haven. For players, even if you are not, a tournament winner, a prince or a Justicar, something like that, you also will have the chance to get turned into a vampire card just for your help and your work put into helping the community grow. So head over to our website. You can find on the blog information. There's also under the community tab pages for both the Haven and Coterie program. We've had a good response. I'm seeing lots of reports come in on those with some great pictures we'll be sharing here over the month. But that runs to the end of the year. You just need to help organize, help run these events to become qualified to win. And you have a great chance to win some awesome stuff. But people, didn't just come here to hear about the news. They want to see new cards, I suspect.
Oh, yeah.
And we're almost to that. Don't worry.
Okay.
We have a lot of news, and it's really, I think, all exciting and fun news. Two more things. One, tournament rules have been updated just to clarify promo legality. There was some concern in the community that, if I haven't gotten the Month of Darkness promos yet, or I haven't gotten a store that has Annabelle yet, I'm going to be behind. So those promos, as well as the promos in the upcoming Clan Clash kit, are not currently legal. They will not be legal until they've been out there in the world a little bit. Everybody's had a chance to get them. If you're worried about the Month of Darkness promos because there's nothing you need to order from us right now, don't worry. They will be available on their own separately right after the month is over. So you won't have to wait long to get access to those. And finally, if you are the sort of fan or community member who's got like physical, talents and dexterity and is interested in participating, Renegade is hosting a pumpkin carving contest online this month. If you head over to renegadegames.com and click on the news, you will see the rules there. We're going to have some public judging. I've seen one amazing Vampire the Masquerade pumpkin already and a bunch of other cool entries. So if you've got any sort of talents or want to try your hand, I highly recommend you check it out. But the Dragon and the Rogue, that is the next expansion. It's up for pre-order. Pre-orders come with the free alternate art promos for both Stefan and Angela, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it. And we are going to talk about the Ravnos clan. We've shown off the vampires. We've talked a little bit about their play style, but we're going to go through that whole pre-constructed deck and really dive into what makes the Ravnos tick, what makes them interesting, what makes them unique. You've talked a little bit about them before, Matt, but what is the Ravnos's? What's the elevator pitch for Ravnos?
Yeah, they are I kind of have called them like a clan on the run. They like to they switch their havens a lot, which means they're on the move. They're also a younger clan. They don't have any big elders, so you're going to see their characters are like 4 and under in the BP. They also are really good at illusions and getting their tokens where they need them when they need them. So you will see some of those themes amongst the cards. And of course, animalism gives them another opportunity, mostly defensive, because as smaller characters, they do need defensive help. Yeah, so they don't get knocked out in one blow, right?
One more thing that I should have noted at the very start, this is a pre-recorded stream, so we are not live in chat. If you have questions, just head over to the Rivals channel in our Discord and ask Matt and I there. We will not be able to respond live on stream. We just had some commitments this evening, so pre-recorded stream. Maybe Katie can put that at the beginning. If not, now's your reminder. But
totally fine.
We will start off taking a look at the agenda and just reminding ourselves of the default Ravnos agenda in Haven, just to kind of set the scene for the rest of the deck. And the agenda, we've shown it before, but it's a raising the stakes. So Matt, raising the stakes, when you put prestige on a card you control that already has 2+ tokens, you get an agenda.
Yeah. Yep, and then if you resolve a face-down card with 4+ on it, you get 2 agenda. So This is, getting 4 tokens onto, say, a trap or a conspiracy is not an everyday occurrence. If you've played the Malkavians or some of the conspiracy, you'll recall that it's pretty rare that you've got 4 tokens on a conspiracy, unless, of course, it needed 4 to trigger, but in order to resolve it. But you know that takes a lot of effort. With the Ravnos, it may not take quite so much effort anymore because they've got some tricks up their sleeve to be able to move tokens around. So it might be a little bit easier to get to 4+ than you've ever seen before. And of course, a lot of traps just get better and better the more tokens on it. So if you look across the table and you see a face down card with 6 prestige on it, beware.
Yeah, and I think this plays into the trickster aspect of Ravnos.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing now, the second time I've looked at this agenda, I think I read it before as when you resolve one that has 2 or more, you gain 1. If you resolve one that's 4 or more, gain 2. That's not correct. No. You get it for the first placement.
Yeah, as long as it already has 2+. So you do have to kind of get maybe even, well, there are ways of getting a little bit of extra tokens out there, as you'll see, but those first couple tokens don't get you the profit. Once you get to 2+ and you add more, you're going to profit with agenda. When you resolve it, all that hard work you put into it to get to 4 is going to pay off. So it really kind of builds on itself, right? You're paid to get it from medium to big, and then once you go big, you get the big 2 agenda payoff.
And you can score both those in the same turn. I can put the 4th token down, which triggers that first scoring. Then I can resolve it and gain 2 more. So okay.
Yeah, and that is a commitment. You're committing pretty hard to that card and prestige, so you're going to get paid off for it. So,
well, we may see some more trap options here later in this stream. I
think we will
show some options. But in the meantime, the Ravnos Haven, the default one, is the converted bus. And it does have the sort of what we've come to expect as the norm, the +1. Actually, no. It doesn't.
You might have noticed that the text is in red. That is to draw your attention that something is different here.
It's not characters in your haven have +1 secrets.
Correct.
It's characters in the streets.
Yeah, as a clan on the move, they are rarely in their haven. They're usually leaving their haven, going to a new haven. So they're in the streets a lot. And when they're in the streets, +1 secrecy. So that's going to be a slightly different play pattern than you're used to.
And again, helpful because not a lot of blood. If you can avoid taking those hits or just raise the opportunity cost to be attacked, that's going to help you. And when your leader moves to the streets, you may move one of their blood to another card you control, flip to either side. So we did talk about this on the first Ravnos preview stream.
Yeah,
you can use this to fuel. You can use it and move it as blood to pump up a ritual.
Or emergency.
You could also. Sorry, what?
Or emergency blood bag if you wanted to.
Yes. Or I guess even another vampire. Like if you have someone who's got a lot of blood and someone who's got a little. Yep. Or very usefully for the agenda we just saw, you could flip to the prestige side, place it on conspiracy.
Yeah. That will be the most common, to flip it to prestige, because the prestige is just going to be it's a harder resource to come by. So that's just going to be the more valuable way to do it, and that's going to fuel your traps and conspiracies, things like that.
And that kind of similar to the leader Stefan's character ability, correct?
He's got there. Right. There's some crossover there. Of course, if you're worried about your leader getting knocked out, you could play with a larger leader. You don't have to play with a Ravnos 4-cost. Obviously, Stefan is going to be your best bet if you're hardcore into the Ravnos thematic. But if you have other ideas, why not use a 6-cost character where losing 1 blood is no big deal?
Yes. Indeed. Well, then from here on out, it's all brand new, folks. So let's take a look at some of the actions and other tools that the Ravnos have. So this one is a Ravnos specific card.
Ravnos only, yep.
Cryptolect. What the heck is a Cryptolect?
Shoot, I used to know this. I think it's their little secret language.
Okay.
Yeah, and it uses, hand symbols and various other facial tics, things like that, ways to communicate without giving away your position, kind of thing.
Cool. Yeah, I guess the definition is a secretive language form used by a subculture. So this is a specific way that the Ravnos can like communicate with each other and know, who's who and who's in the know.
Truly. And this particular card, as you know, because the Ravnos is a smaller clan, 4 or less, they're going to need a little bit of help in their recruiting efforts, so much like the Thin Bloods have with some of their cards. So this is an ongoing. You pay 1 less prestige to recruit vampires with 2+ BP, and you'll of course add the blood that you're not spending as prestige from the general supply. If you are recruiting a Ravnos vampire, you'll draw 1 card, so that can keep vampires coming, because you're going to need a few of them because they are small. You're probably, if you've got an aggressive opponent, it's not going to be that tough for them to knock you out. But if you've got 4 or 5 characters, it's going to be tough for them to score a coterie elimination. And of course, these stack. So if you are lucky enough to get a couple of them into play,
sure,
you're gonna have some pretty easy recruits eventually.
And the other thing to note, while the Ravnos are generally lower blood potency than a lot of the clans, they don't go down to 1s like the Thin Bloods. At least in the ones that I've seen so far in the Precon, they're all 2 or higher. So your whole Ravnos roster will trigger off this card.
Yeah, the ones we're trying to keep that as a Thin Blood special to give them their own unique identity, but you never know. Someday, who knows what'll happen in the future.
Domino Effect. Now, love the art on this one. It definitely, things are going down.
Yeah, it's like shoot the car, blow it up, and blow some people out of it who then catch on fire. It's like, or maybe that's even a shoot a barrel next to the car. I guess I haven't examined it too closely yet. So basically a domino effect, right? It's another ongoing. They like their ongoings, by the way, the Ravnos. So this is a relentless. It's an exhaust, so 1 per car.
And relentless, for anybody who doesn't remember or doesn't know, that lets you trigger it when it's not your turn.
Yeah. And that can be important for some traps, which you will soon find. So what is the domino effect? Well, the next time you resolve a face-down card with 1+ tokens on it this turn, place 1 of those tokens on another card you control. So remember how you invested 4 prestige, let's say, which is the most likely. You've invested 4 prestige onto a trap. And then you're like, well, I think it's time to resolve this trap against your foe during their turn. You exhaust this, resolve the trap, and you get to move one of those 4 tokens off of the trap you're resolving and put it on something else, which is, it's going to keep, it's going to keep rolling so that you're not going to be going back to 0 all the time.
And as you just pointed out with the last card, these stack too, right?
Well, they stack in that each one is used individually with an exhaust. So yeah, you could exhaust 2 of these and remove 2 tokens. Yeah, and remove 2 tokens from a card you're resolving, place those onto something else, which you then of course could resolve that thing as well, if you really want to keep the domino theme going, but not a requirement. Yeah.
That is a really solid boost to your sort of prestige economy, your action economy of putting these tokens out.
Indeed. Yeah, the Ravnos are they're a cunning clan, and you've got to be a bit of a cunning player to figure out your combos sometimes and to get your timing right. So not. It is something you might need a practice or 2 before you master it.
Nice. Fear tactics. This one's not ongoing, just an action. This is steal 1 prestige from each foe who has a fear token on a character in their coterie. So it's not per fear token in the coterie. It's just a yes or no. Do they have one?
Yeah. You can steal 1 from each player essentially if they have a fear token. So Using their power of illusion, as you might have seen, they do have some ways to do some fear, and this is a good way to get some prestige that you're going to need to fuel up your traps, conspiracies, and some extra recruiting.
And it's just flexible. You can put that prestige, into your supply if you need to, recruit more vampires, or you can use it to boost your traps and conspiracy.
Yeah, which can get you quicker to that 4+, since that's not that easy to do all the time. But this is a great way to do it. Great way to get to 4+.
I like the art too. Joyce always does a really nice job with the ghost bear.
Yep.
The Freelancer, back to the ongoings. So this one's unhosted. And kind of looks like you hired a hitman or something here, but add 3 prestige from the general supply to this card. You can ongoing remove 1 from this. The next time a character in your coterie plays an action card this turn, ready them. I can see that being very attractive to a lot of people.
That could be, yes, indeed. That could be useful for a host of things. I mean, obviously, it's nice to have ready characters for blockers, but this would be possibly useful in a ritual deck even. There's just a lot of use for them. And also, as some of the characters, I think, even have abilities when they exhaust. So, so that can help them play 2 actions during a turn, or play an action and then make an attack. So,
is it alchemy? So, thinking about Thin Bloods, are alchemy cards action alchemy, or are they just alchemy?
They are action alchemy, yes.
Because that was always a thing that bummed me out when playing Thin Bloods. If I wanted to play the alchemy to boost my stat, which I want to attack with, and then I now have to telegraph a turn ahead of time.
Right, unless you have Frog out. Frog lets them ready when you attach it. So But
this would be another way around that.
That could be.
Cool. Mask of 1,000 Faces. Now this features Stefan, the leader here, and then some of his, I guess, maybe other looks. So Discipline. This is
that's Oblivion.
Oblivion. I'm never gonna get those 2 right.
Oh, sorry, not Oblivion. Obfuscate. Sorry,
I was right.
It is Obfuscate. Yeah. Sorry, I'm so used to you getting it wrong that I said the wrong. I just had to go against you because you're always wrong. So
always bet against me, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Tell me about this one, Matt.
This is a super tricky one. If you like to be tricky, this is probably the trickiest card in the entire game. So it's a limited use. You get three charges on it, but of course you can easily find ways to get more prestige onto this with some of the Ravnos cards. Ongoing Relentless, so you can use it during an opponent's turn. Remove 1 prestige from this. Swap 1 non-leader character in your coterie with 1 in your hand, retaining its state, meaning exhausted or ready. Tokens, meaning blood, no influence, fear, -1 BP, things like that. And attachments, but you're going to pay any difference in the BP if the character that you're bringing in is a higher BP. And you're going to pay that from your personal supply. So, in a nutshell, what this is doing is, you thought the most common usage is going to be, you thought you were attacking this guy, but wait, that guy is not who you're attacking, and you put somebody from your hand into play. This is who you're attacking. So you may have thought you were attacking a character with 0 social. Suddenly, you're attacking a character with 2 social. And they still have their animals and blood and everything else. So,
Okay.
Notice there is one thing that the new character, even if the character, so let's say that you have a 3 who you want to swap out for a 4. The 3's got, let's say, 3 blood on it. You're going to pay 1, and this is in the rule book. You're going to pay 1 prestige because you're bringing out a 4 on top of a 3, right? You're paying the difference because you're bringing out a character with a higher BP. But the character maintains the blood that was there. That extra
You don't
prestige
heal
that you
them as
pay
part of the.
goes to the general supply. Yeah, that goes from your personal supply to the general supply. It's literally the same everything except for the character card, right?
Okay.
Attachments, tokens, everything, prince title, whatever it is. Yeah, you. So it is a very tricky way to obviously your opponents know that you have this card, and they'll be able to tell whether you have a vampire in your hand. And of course,
Sure.
the previous card we saw, which is like when you recruit a Ravnos, draw a card. That's going to be pretty important to keep a Ravnos in your hand, or whoever else. Doesn't have to be a Ravnos. You can swap any card into any character card into play. If you want to trick somebody, hey, attack my 3 and I'll suddenly put a 6 into play, you can do that. But of course, your 6 is only going to have 3 blood.
Yeah.
So you'll have better stats, of course, but yeah.
So
and probably more
this,
defensive options, but yeah.
If I'm doing it on defense, when's my window to swap? Is it after they played their attack card and stuff?
Oh yeah. After all that, it's during the normal activating abilities step. So that's after the cards are down and everything. So the attack continues. You can do it on offense, yes.
Although I guess so. My sneaky thought was, I'm going to attack with mental. Oh no, it's physical, but you have to declare the attack.
That
doesn't
right.
change.
Yeah, you would have
already
already
attacking with physical. Put a card down, and then they had a 0 physical, and they're thinking, it's not going to be that bad. Then boom, I have a 2 physical in for them.
That is one of the best ways to use it offensively. In playtesting, it was naturally used a bit more defensively. Yeah. Speaking of defenses, because this happens during the activated abilities step, you will have already played a reaction, right? If you wish to. That reaction stays with the character, right? So basically, you just consider, it's basically just a new card, but nothing else in the attack changes. It's just a new character.
Yeah.
Nothing else changes. Yep.
I guess the other use case, too, is if there's like a kicker in some ability on a attack or reaction that requires a particular discipline that your character currently doesn't have, it's a good way to get that in and trigger it when they may not expect. I can't think of relevant examples off the top of my head, but I'm sure someone will suggest a couple.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of reactions that have a discipline requirement, and you're like, oh man, my dude doesn't have it, but I really want to play this discipline. If only I had a way to swap that character out to a new one. Well, now you can.
Interesting card and interesting implications for faction deck building.
Yeah.
If you're running this.
Yep. Granted, and because it's on the table, your opponent knows, your foes know that you're capable of this. It's just, maybe it's a better deterrent than anything else. But
you could play it there and just force the foes to account for many more possibilities whenever you're attacking or defending than they would normally have to.
Right. And by the way, I should also mention, if you swap with a lower character, right? Let's say you wanted to avoid someone getting an extra extra agenda from a turf war, right? Turf war can trigger on a 5+. They're like, haha, your guy with one blood, I'm going to take him out and score big here with my turf war. And you're like, I'm going to swap this for a 2. Okay, well now your 2 has 1 blood, right? You don't. Oh, by the way, let's say that you swapped a 4 with 4 blood for a 3. The 3 does not get 4 blood. You remove the excess blood. So that is the one tiny change that can happen in the board state.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Cool card.
Yeah.
A lot of possibilities, and I like with a couple of the cards in Shadows and Shrouds. I think I look forward to seeing this used really effectively on a big game and just see the reactions.
Oh yeah.
The Emperor's new clothes. I don't know how to tell the Emperor this, but these clothes are on fire. So
yeah,
a new trap.
Yes, a new trap. Excellent. So typical with the trap, you're going to face down and place 1 prestige from your personal supply on it. Resolve at any time. That means resolve during any action phase. Target player who attached a card this turn burns 1 non-title card without effect, meaning if the card has a burn effect or a detach effect, doesn't do anything. But they're going to lose one for every 2 tokens on this card. So if you're really not happy with someone with a bunch of animals or alchemy or retainers, this might be the trap for you. And you can resolve it when they attach a card. So, and indeed, you can knock out the card that they are attaching right now because it's their turn. It happens first. So,
and this is resolve at any time means it doesn't need relentless because it's always
correct. Yeah,
active and waiting for someone to attach.
Yeah, something. Relentless is only for activated abilities. This is, it's trigger. This is more of a triggered because it's, you say, okay, you just attached a retainer. I'm going to I'm going to flip this, and it's got, let's say, 4 tokens on it. You can lose that retainer, and you can lose that bat out of hell as well, some animal or something.
And now the victim will choose which cards to lose, right?
The target player, right, burns one attachment for every 2 tokens. So they do choose, correct.
And you, just out of curiosity, like if let's say this Toreador player first action is to go out there and take a mortal and they attach them. Mm-hmm. Do I have to do it then, or can I wait and see what their second action is?
You don't. Yeah, you just have to do it before the end of the current action phase. So an action is in which someone attached a card. You'll find similar wording on the previous traps, like target character who attacked this turn. Right? Yeah. You're not responding to the attack. You're saying, did you do this thing this turn? Okay. At the end of your action phase, before you go to your end phase, I'm gonna hit you with this trap. So
yep, it makes sense. I just wanted to clarify because that if you have to do it right, then there are ways to kind of force the you have to either do it now and maybe I'm going to attach another mortal in my second action. I don't know, or you have to wait and see. So cool, flexible. I like it. Nasty little trap there. Mm-hmm. That's not the only one though. The long con is also a new trap. So this one is presence, right?
Yep. So you got to have presence in your coterie to be able to resolve it. And this is when they put a token on a card during their action phase. So if they do some mid-turn action phase mending, notice you can't do it when they're discarding at end of turn. It's only during the action phase. They might be putting a no influence token on themselves when they play a scheme or a title. But you're going to steal prestige or blood for each prestige on it. You steal 1 prestige or blood from a card you've not stolen from this turn. Place each token on a card you control. You can't flip them, by the way, because it doesn't say you can. So essentially, let's say you had 3 prestige on this, and someone put a no influence token on their character. You can steal prestige, 1 prestige or blood from 3 different cards. And of course, if you played a second long con during the same turn, you couldn't also target those 3 cards again, right? So, but this also means that you can't, for instance, steal 3 blood from a single character, right? Yeah. But if somebody's got like a something, an ongoing with prestige on it, like we've seen a few of these, and also
long-term investment or something.
Yeah, long-term investment. It could even be a face down. It could be a conspiracy or a trap as well, because it's just from a card. So you can even steal prestige from someone's big house. Wouldn't that be fun?
I guess another token on card would be like La Sombra getting agenda on themselves. Like that could trigger as well.
Well, yeah, that would be a token. Yeah, if they put agenda token on themselves, that would be a trigger that would allow you to resolve this. But you're only stealing prestige or blood. But that would be.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking as another way to trigger, or even more commonly, just people gaining agenda on their turn gives you a lot of opportunities to resolve this.
That's true. Putting agenda onto their agenda card would allow you to trigger it. You're right.
And you don't. And correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't look like you have to steal from that foe.
You do not. No, you go anywhere you want.
Okay. Yeah, man, that's got a lot of potential to use in different ways.
Oh yeah.
to mend your own guys, to power rituals, to pump up your own conspiracies and traps. Yeah, interesting.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When you talk about, when you see these cards out there with 6 prestige on them, maybe you really do need to be careful because that could.
Yeah, you'd
nasty.
very easily lose 1 blood from each character in your coterie, and probably
or 3 attachments. Oof.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
Yeah, from the previous one, right?
I think now. Oh yeah, there's another one here. Fatima Morgana.
Yeah.
Another trap, and this one is Ravnos only.
Ravnos only.
Resolve anytime during an attack. For each prestige, you may redirect 1 damage from this attack to target character in the streets. So your rival is coming at you. The person whose rival you are is attacking you, and you play this to take out one of your rival's vampires that's in the street.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be an attack against one of your characters. So you can use this to protect you can use this to protect someone else, which is very useful. Prevents somebody from dying and preventing you from winning the game. So yeah, resolve during an attack. So very easily you could see this redirecting 2 to 4 damage to somebody else. Could even be the attacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing noted in the rulebook that the damage retains its type. Okay, so it would be physical, social, mental, ranged, aggravated, superficial, things like that. Maintains all of it.
I guess you could even, again, I love my edge cases, but if I am going to make an attack using physical, and as expected, they're going to block it with somebody with a physical stat.
Mm-hmm.
I could trigger my own Fatima Morgana off my own attack to basically sidestep their blocker and hit my true target.
Hit your original target or someone who wasn't even involved. You're like, oh my gosh, your reaction is going to stop all the damage. Allow me to do this. So.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can use this. You'll have already seen the you'll have seen whether or not they have played a reaction. So
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Pretty nasty. And then of course you talked about animalism with Ravnos, and they have some animal companions here, which I think the Gangrel and maybe Nosferatu players will be happy to see some more options for.
Mm-hmm.
But first one is urban fox, and it's my wife's favorite animal, and foxes are just an awesome critter, so great to have in the game. So as usual, pay 1 blood to attach.
Yeah, a lot of animals have that, not all of them, but they all require animalism. So ignore 1 antagonist during your end phase. This is going to help the small characters to survive a little longer, much like the Thin Bloods have their 1 cost, their 1 BP characters have the shield that can protect them. And then but you can also burn this card, meaning out of game, discard target ongoing card of foe controls with 0 to 2 tokens on it. So this can take out even ongoing cards that don't have that don't even use tokens on them. Yeah.
And I like the versatility. I mean, ignoring an antagonist is never bad. Now that means if there are 3 Team X, I act as if there's only 2.
Correct. Yes. So you would, in the case of going from 3 to 2 is important because you save 1 point of aggravated damage. So and your 2, 3, and 4 cost characters are gonna be pained to take that much damage. So good to have an urban fox around to distract them.
And it's nice to have, you may just be using it for the ignore the antagonist function, or just attaching an animal to score agenda. But having the burn option when you need it could be very valuable too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I think there's 1 more animal, the wolf spider. So from a nice, friendly fox to what in the hell is on this lady's back?
Yeah. I'm sure some people are holding their hand in front of the screen right now. Yeah. This is just animalism to attach, no blood. Attackers must play their attack cards face up when attacking this character. Easy. But detach, put a fear token on target character in their haven. So that is one way to get fear tokens out there, which can then be good for that previous card that steals prestige from coteries with fear in them.
And not relentless, so you're only going to be fearing people on your turn, but it's very it does have some great reach in that you can reach into the haven and fear someone who exhausted to put a title on or something like that.
Yeah. And, that just means that the spider's inside your house, which is even worse.
The worst is when you try to smack it and then you lift your hand and it's not there.
Ooh. Yeah.
Then it's somewhere else and it's got the taste of blood.
Fair enough.
So a new ranged attack, and I really do like this art piece here by Felipe Gaona. Pretty darn nasty. 3 damage.
3 damage, yes. It is a Ravnos only. So the smaller characters don't, may not have as a great combat abilities. They're too tricky, so they need a little help in combat. This is a great way to do it. And ranged is it's hard to increase, so we can give them a little extra here. But the fun thing is that you can distribute the damage to up to you can distribute the damage to any number of characters in the defending party. You can't do more than 2 to someone who was not the original target. So whoever is or whoever ends up being the target in case of a block from a guard, right?
Sure.
So anyway, you cannot you can't do more than 2 to any character who is not the target, meaning you can't it's not quite a sucker punch, basically.
Sure. And while you need to have a Ravnos in play to use this, you could still have another character from another clan that has an innate ability to boost damage.
Yeah.
To throw.
Beretta could add to it. So she could actually do 2 damage to 2 different characters in the party, which is pretty useful.
Pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And nice to have more ranged options. Just increases the utility of guard characters if there's more threats.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a social attack, the hat trick. So I see somebody's watch is getting stolen. There's a fox helping out stealing a necklace or something.
Yeah, the fox is stealing a necklace.
There's a lot going on here. So this one is a social attack. It's using presence. If you defeat a mortal in the streets, you may place 1 prestige of your color in the general supply on a card you control. So boosting your conspiracies and traps. And if you have both, I'm going to get it wrong now because it's not Oblivion, it's Obfuscate. And Animalism.
Yes.
You'll gain 1 unhosted action if played during your turn.
Yeah, meaning if you used it in a prince attack, an attack against a claimant to the prince title, you don't get it. Okay. So yeah, it's a pretty good way to get an unhosted action for maybe an unhosted ongoing card or another recruit, something like that. And it's it's got to be somebody. It's only 1 damage, so you got to have somebody that you can go after a vagrant probably without any difficulty, but you got to have a 2 stat to get a citizen with it, unless you have some other combat bonus. But it's a pretty good way to stock up your cards with extra prestige, like traps, for instance.
Yeah. Like, not only are you taking them out, you're also robbing them blind. Get that prestige and an action.
Oh, yeah.
The switcheroo. So the switcheroo, this is a pretty versatile attack, but it's got this. Let me see. So when revealed, you may discard this card. If you do, declare a different attack type. Then you play another attack face up. So you could just use this as any type of attack with the 1 damage.
Yeah, you declare physical, social, mental, and play this card. Then, if they play a reaction, you can be like, well, I wonder if that reaction, before you, when you reveal it, because attacker reveals first, you discard and you're going to declare a different attack type, and then you can, if you wish, play a different attack card as well, discarding this one.
So that original reaction would then go by the same rules as if a legal reaction was played, like somebody played the wrong reaction. It just goes to the discard and doesn't have anything.
Right. Yeah.
If it
Like
is no
if it
longer
was like
valid.
like if it was a ranged physical, because there's several cards that are like ranged physical reaction.
Yep.
If you declared a physical attack and then they played a card, you could say, well, about half of the cards that protect against physical are just ranged physical. So maybe I'll come in with social or mental instead. So then you can say, guess what, switcheroo, and then throw down some other social or mental attack. Yeah.
And of course, you can just, if they don't play the reaction, then you can just leave it, let it ride as whatever you initially declared and get that one bonus.
You can still change it if you want, but if they don't play a reaction, you probably wanted to make a reasonable attack in the beginning just to draw out the reaction anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And sleight of hand. This is a mental attack.
Yeah, it's a Ravnos only, so you can imagine it's going to be pretty good. And if the defender plays a reaction, they're going to discard one card. And if your party has presence and obfuscate, you also steal one prestige from the defending player.
Now, this doesn't get automatically placed under your face down cards like a lot of the other prestige that you're stealing and committing shenanigans with, but just goes into your pool, gives you more to work with.
Yep. You're going to need that because you're going to be playing a few traps, and then you're going to be using your trickery to get prestige on them, but you need the prestige in the first place to be able to play the traps. So, good way to get it.
Yes.
Just a lot of trickiness, as you can see.
And I think we're on to the couple of new reactions, starting with Escape Artist. So this is ranged and physical, as you had just kind of mentioned earlier. It's got one innate defense, but +2 if you control 2 or more unattached face down and or ongoing. We've seen some great ongoings.
Yep.
And we've, obviously the conspiracies and traps will be.
Yeah. There's no conspiracies in this Precon deck, but obviously you can play conspiracies along with traps pretty easily. So most of the time it's going to be traps, I would suspect, but quite easy to get a trap and an ongoing card in there. And then this is a really good defense. It's a Ravnos only. They're going to need that defense to stay alive because they're small.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I just Ravnos only. So I'm like, this is very, very good. It's going to be very popular, but there are some restrictions.
Yeah, and it is only ranged physical, so it's specific, but it's good.
And here we go to ranged and mental with smoke and mirrors. Another way to put some fear out.
Yeah, put a fear token on target character in the attacking party. Doesn't have to be the attacker, could be anyone. And then with obfuscate, the attacker's damage becomes superficial. That is also pretty exciting there.
So there's a great example of a time you might want to use the Mask of 1,000 Faces. Like if somebody they reveal a big attack, they're hitting you for 5 or 6, and you're going to die.
Oh, yeah.
You could switch to somebody with obfuscate, and now they just go down to 1.
Yeah, assuming you don't, maybe your guy already has obfuscate, you never know. But yeah, you can tell when a big attack is coming in, right? It's like, some big 6-cost character with a 2 stat, and they've got couple of nasty ongoings. Maybe they've got brother out there. You never know. You can see it coming. This is a great way to save your guy. Goal line defense. He's gonna whatever your defender is, he or she is gonna end up with 1 blood at the end of the attack.
All right, that one's interesting, and that's it. We are back into the vampires. So that is the pre-constructed deck for Ravnos. We showed off the vampires probably about a month ago now, but that's what you're gonna just get out of the box, unshrink wrap, and start playing. And then, of course, next week we are going to take a look at the Crypt Pack from Dragon and the Rogue, and that will be full of additional options. A couple new agendas and havens usually, and some new vampires and other goodies to mix things up and maybe play these in a different way.
Oh yeah.
In addition to the stream here, I'm going to be publishing an article. It might probably already be up just going through all the cards that we've seen for Ravnos, so you can take a look at the whole deck, see its play style, and get your pre-orders in here so we can get those free promos to you along with your order. And of course, the Month of Darkness 2022 promo pack with even more promo goodness. So that is our plan for next week to cover the Crypt pack. We will then have shown off everything in the Dragon and the Rogue, and we will be well into the Month of Darkness. So if you haven't yet, head over to the Renegade site, check out the blog that covers everything we're doing for Month of Darkness. There's not only just the Rivals stuff that we've mostly talked about on the show here, but we're giving out some extra content for both Vampire the Masquerade and Hunt of the Reckoning. We've got a live play happening after this show at 7 p.m. Pacific tonight. This will be a Hunter 2-shot this week and next week, telling a great story in the universe of Hunt of the Reckoning. So a lot going on for Month of Darkness. Participate in that wherever you can. Hopefully some people make some pumpkins. And if you have questions, remember to head over to Discord and tag Hyra and or myself with those, since we are not here responding live. Anything else, Matt, that we should cover or you wanted to share with folks? Excited to kind of to cap off our precons and have people really get a look at the meat and potatoes of Dragon and the Rogue? Awesome.
I think we're everyone, good. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. We will see you next Wednesday with the Crypt Pack. Until then, get out there and play some Rivals.
Bye.